My name's Seva. It rhymes with Sega, S-E-V-A. So what? This is Killa Brooh, William Killa Brooh Thomas. And today we are talking to you really more with each other together. What an idea. I got a question. You went to an HBSC.
Yep.
So how do you feel like did that affect you when you were there?
No, that was a really great question that I was not ready to answer. That's really good. If HBCUs is a product of affirmative action, which I think it might have came a little bit before, but I never thought of it like that. But if HBCUs is a part of affirmative action, I mean, that's why I'm here. That's the reason why I was at least not just a regular nigga. I had actually a degree with me, and I think they was a little bit more lenient than they were. They were way more lenient than it was. Than I went to the white school in Louisiana Tech, because I went to both of them.
So now you're an elite cracker now.
I don't know if I'm that. I don't know if I'm that. I guess if to definition, then I am. We talked about that earlier.
Well, we will. You know, the idea originally was there's not enough representation that it adequately reflects the society.
And I agree with that. I mean, look at the HBCUs and then look at the regular, what they call universities.
Yeah.
Because college is just one study.
You know, I know that there was a problem with it really representing the society. So they
college
mandated. Yeah.
And university.
And they mandated this, and I do not know the exact history of why they mandated it, but I know that it was, and it was probably 73.
I don't know.
I know that it was done in order to say, look, you have to consider race when you're allowing people in, so that we could have more chances for people to go and do an advanced career, for example, something that takes advanced training.
Right.
Lawyer, doctor, whatever. But it could also be, a precision machinist. It could also be a genetical engineer.
I don't think that they're thinking about it as hiring. The majority of what they're going crazy is not the hiring process, though.
No,
I don't think it's educational process.
Yeah.
But that's the beginning of the hiring process. But they're not talking about the hiring process directly. And that's kind of what you was talking about. I think it's more, like you say, the education. That's what they're talking about.
That's what they're talking about.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about.
That was California eliminated all affirmative action.
Yes, absolutely.
A while back.
Yeah.
Their percentage of non-white went up considerably. So
yeah.
It wasn't really that they needed any consideration, because they already saw that it was basically working there. And Chief Judge Roberts wrote in his majority opinion, he wrote, this was done so that we could get to a better place, and we're not at that place yet.
We're still not.
And he said we're not. However, then he had some rationale for why he went with it anyway, but it was because of these two specific schools, Harvard and University of North Carolina.
Yeah.
But he has said in his opinion that he wrote that, he basically wrote for the majority, that it was supposed to get us there, but it hadn't worked.
Right.
We were better off where we were, so it has moved in that direction. But somehow that he viewed that it was time to see, can people do this?
25 years. That's whenever 25 years ago is when they said it, and they thought that 25 years ago to today, or whenever they judged on it, would be the time that they think that it should have reversed. And now, since it's it's six chiefs, that's
six
whatever direction it is, that's that way.
6 wear white robes.
Oh, come on. But if it's wherever it's leaning
there's
to,
Clarence Thomas in the white.
I know. I know.
Shades of Dave Chappelle.
Just shades.
Yeah, man. Chocolate, vanilla, man. So I think that affirmative action was a way to simplify a process to try to help reach a certain result.
Right.
I think that it did work, and obviously, it did work.
Yeah. So
in some areas, but and after the 25 years done, they're saying maybe this is time to stop this now. But here's what I was very concerned about.
Okay.
On the HBCU.
Okay.
Which I misspoke earlier. The HBCU. So you said that you had a concern for what was going to happen to those schools.
Well, it didn't happen. Now, I was there when I think they were trying to get accredited. I know we was a part of that whole thing. A lot of people probably really wish I would not be talking about this. It was a point when it was several schools. I was at one of them. If you know me, then you know where I was at, but I'm not going to say it. We was right there on the borderline of us losing to give everybody there even that year, and it wasn't even because of the scholastics part of it. It was actually because of the sporting part of it. A couple of football players that was an all-male team came up pregnant. So after they had that, they went and started digging into people passing school and all of that stuff. So they almost lost their accreditation
because of that.
Yeah, because half of the team was pregnant. Half of the team was pregnant.
That would certainly would bring some. I mean, it seems like that would raise a flag without any AI.
Yeah, no doubt. But it was pretty bad. It was like the first story everywhere and all that good stuff.
Most of the affirmative action stuff only deals with Ivy League schools and so forth, and those with very, very strict admission requirements.
Well,
most of the rest are open admission.
Yeah, so it does and it don't. So let's go to football, right? The Rooney Rule. That's saying that you have to at least interview a black coach before you can hire another one. It's called the Rooney Rule. And what was the guy name from the Dolphins?
Brian Flores.
Yeah, Brian Flores. Bill Belichick actually called him and was like, "Man, congratulations, Brian." And it was the wrong Brian. And both of them interviewed for the job. And it was before he even interviewed. But how I feel on affirmative action, I think that, man, it's hard because I done gained so much from it. And then I see why white people might have a problem with it. You know, especially if they say like, hey, if we're equal and this black guy get it just because he's black, that's not fair to me.
Right. And
Right. And I get that. Totally get that part. But it was never fair for us. But I definitely don't want to get it if you're better. Let's say if you're better.
Right.
I think that the better man should get it. I think that should be right. But I don't know if we'll ever get ahead if we don't ever have a chance. Because who knows who's better?
Right. The idea was to equal the educational opportunity, so that those that have potential can grow from there.
Right.
And the thing is that if equality, it was basically colorblind, then we should look at, how well did you do in your sports, how well you do your study, and so forth. That would be an equal board. But that's not what happened. There were examples where a black person would have a higher score intellectually and scholastically, but they wanted this other person and they took him instead. And that's one of the reasons that the affirmative action was there, was to prevent that from happening.
Gotcha.
That you intentionally don't overlook somebody who's actually more qualified just because you're prejudiced. And that's where the issue lay. They were trying to remove that prejudicial issue.
Yeah, it's tough on both ends, man. I understand both. I guess it's almost like dynamic, like the Confederate flag.
Oh, it's a dividing.
Yeah.
Sure.
So what do you think about that?
Those that don't really study history are condemned to repeat it. And I'm not the historian, but I'll tell you that the Confederate flag was a battle flag. It was not meant to represent the South or the ideas. It was meant so they wouldn't shoot each other.
I want to stop you right there. What do you think about the Confederate flag? What you think about
It's always seemed racist to me.
Always seemed racist, no matter what.
Yeah.
Gotcha. What you think about the Confederate flag?
My feelings are originally it was a battle flag, so they didn't kill each other. So one flag was obviously not the same. They had the bars and stripes, or they had the. So it was pretty visible for
what you think? To be honest.
I mean, misunderstood.
Misunderstood.
I feel like in some ways, some people don't understand it.
The
ones who are really like using it or have it don't even know the history behind it.
On generally.
Yeah.
Which ends, the white or the black? Both.
Mm-hmm. I think generally, I think that you're right, that most people really don't know the history of it. And they've attached some new aspect to what they think it means, and that was because of its continued use by the Klan and by Jim Crow.
Right.
But originally, it was simply because every militia, where those are what you're supposed to be able to use in case you don't have war. That's what the Second Amendment is all about, which is to have a militia. So that's a little bit different. So these militias in the South, which were groups of various battle groups, all had different flags, and they would shoot each other because they looked a little bit like the so-called American flag, or the flag of the Union. So it looked too similar to that, so they wound up killing each other. So they said, wait, we got to have one flag that'll do this. You imagine how long it took, because how long did communications take back then? For a long time, communications were the speed of foot, and then they were at the speed of the horse. And that's days.
Do
So they finally decided to get this one flag so they just wouldn't shoot each other. That was it. It didn't stand for that. It just so that it's like, hey, we're the same team. Literally, it's like everybody's going to wear the same uniform.
Why do you think people think that it's racist?
Because I think it was used by people who were expressly racist. Once the Klan, unfurled that all the time. Once that was invited into Jim Crow, people clung to that as a symbol of basically slavery under another name. They did their best to preserve this Anglo-Saxon aspect of what they thought was pure, which is ridiculous because you're all a bunch of damn dogs, you fucking mongrels, dumbass. Go get your fucking 23andMe and find out where you're from. If you have one drop of African blood, then what, motherfucker? I mean, come on. It could be anybody I'm talking to.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, go ahead. Go ahead and find out where you're really from because you're not pure anything. Nothing. Do you think Europe got rid of their best people to come over here? No. The people that were poor and were, had been fighting wars and stuff, they're all the ones that came over here. They did not have liberty and all this stuff in their minds. They were getting away from stuff. The founding fathers had that idea.
Do you think it's racist?
Yeah.
The flag.
I think that the use of it generally indicates that someone is identifying with those parts of the South, these Southern ideals, so to speak, that really tried to enforce Jim Crow, still tries to enforce it to this day. Very few would display it as like an object of war, like a souvenir or a
what it's
collector.
Supposed to be.
Right. It's like if you collect pistols from the Civil War and you collect this and that and so forth, then I know some collectors that collect Southern Confederate stuff and some that collect both.
Yeah.
Because they look at it at a time of history and learning. So they have a Confederate flag as to say this was a flag that was used, but they don't fly it from their truck. I mean, if it's going to be like that, they have enough numbers that they think they can get away with it. But a person that, say, believes in, the original concept of the Black Panthers, not going to fly a Black Panther flag because there's not that many and it would draw too much attention. But it would be the same kind of point that they're trying to make, is that I identify with this concept. And I would agree more with the Panthers concept than anything of white supremacy.
Right.
Because, the whites is not supreme to anything.
So you think a Confederate flag is white supremacy?
I think that it represents that to a lot of people.
Man, I don't know if I think that.
I think that it represents, it says to them that if you're in that company of people, then more likely you're going to hear talk about blacks than if you were in a company
no
of
doubt
people
about that.
didn't have them.
No doubt about
So
that. I agree with that.
It tips that way.
I can't, hey man, I can't lie about that. But I guess I don't want to think that, but sometimes it could be offensive if a certain person has it. It's weird, man, because I'm like, okay, it's this guy can't be like that. I'm over here hanging out,
Right.
He don't want to kill me. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, is this a real thing or are we making this shit up?
The presence of the Confederate flag, the battle flag,
Mm-hmm.
can make people uncomfortable.
Sure.
And I'm going to just compare that to the word goddamn. It can make people very uncomfortable because they think that you're cursing God. And it's like, no. The truth is, I'm asking God to damn that thing. But the reason we don't say it, because it makes people uncomfortable. Go to church, don't say it. With your grandmother, don't say it unless she curses too. And then, well, that's your environment. But it's like George Carlin said, there's nothing really wrong with curse words. It's just that some people are sensitive to them.
Right.
So you choose to use them in a certain way.
I guess would that be paraphernalia or what would that? That be a flag or a poster of what people consider fuck you nigga.
Yeah, well, right now, getting at the USSR flag is not going to make a whole lot of hell difference.
But we don't know what that is. Maybe the world, maybe on a broad scale, but not here.
Well,
we wouldn't give a fuck about that. I don't think the moon and the star.
But if you knew the history, though, you'd say, wait a minute.
I know the
This
history.
is Russia as the flag. USSR was all these countries underneath Russia's
But
influence.
that shouldn't influence our 24/7 though. I wouldn't
No,
even go there to
But I'm
start
saying that
thinking
it
about
represents
that.
something that's not really in right now.
I got you.
right? If I was a collector of Confederate stuff, I would be looking more for the flags of the original militias, because I'm curious about what they were, what was maybe from around here, or what was from wherever you might live, because that's a historical interest. Like I have a piece of brass that came from the Nazis, and it's a curiosity for me. It's revolting to me. But it's no more revolting than it would be if I looked at it at a museum.
What do you think about the black guys that wear? So it's still, I always want to go ahead and refer to David Banner or who the fuck else did it? David Banner. Who did it? Who else did the Lil Jon? David Banner, Lil Jon, Outkast.
Mm-hmm.
They all wore that shit. So what do you think? That they did it before? I think they did it before that wasn't cool. You know what I mean? So, but I don't understand how something. It's almost like when religion comes up with something new. I don't understand when people see something that, all right, those guys did it, but now it's not cool no more, and it's still the same fucking flag. Even though I don't, I think if anything that got to do with slavery isn't cool, and I probably would be more against it than I would be for it. Yeah. So that's my opinion on it. But still, if it offends all of my people, I'm gonna be with my people.
Yeah, and here's the thing. This is why I don't appreciate seeing statues to Confederate.
I don't agree with that.
I don't like that.
I don't know why they
we haven't allowed a statue of the German leaders, the Luftwaffe, or anybody else, or statues to Hitler. It's kind of like,
but that's our history, though.
But
I live here too. I live here right with the racist motherfuckers.
I just don't know. I think there's a much better.
But I think they have the right to be like, "Hey, my nigga, we did this."
But you know how they were put up, though. They weren't even put up. They weren't even put up until the early 1900s, when there was a strong push by an interested group that wanted to go and put these things up at that particular time when they could really get away with it. It was not done like right after the war. It was not done like in 1902 or something. It was more like in the 20s and the 30s. If I remember, it was in the first half of the 1900s, where that's when they put all these Southern generals and stuff up. And some of those are known people that are absolute brutal in the way that they conducted war, and they committed atrocities in war that we wouldn't put up with now. And I don't see any reason to have a statue to somebody like that, especially when it was done after the fact. It was not done by people saying, "Oh well, it's."
But it's still our history. I consider I'm American.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's still our history, no matter what. We don't even have anybody like that. We don't even have nobody like we have. Somebody that I don't know how to compare those flags to our heroes, because we only got how many do we have? We have the Alvin Ailey here, or are they monumentals that we have?
Yeah.
So I don't know who do we have to compare with the shit like General E. Lee? Who do we have to be like, you can't cut that down because he's a fucking racist?
I would say that, who do you have?
Yeah, I'm saying, who do we have? It's like, what black guys up? That's
and
like,
I hate to say you, because I'm going to say that.
No, we're talking, baby.
People that are African Americans.
Yeah.
Have people like Jordan. They have Prince Hall.
I know who that, the Haitian.
He should be a founding father.
He's a Haiti guy. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Prince
Absolutely.
Hall is an amazing person.
I know exactly
No
who you're
one
talking
teaches about him.
No.
The great orator.
But I'm saying I'm saying
But you got some heroes.
I'd
rather put statues up of them.
Right, but I got you. But I'm saying, who do we have that's like people like, say, white guys that say, why the fuck you got that flag up? Like, we don't have a Bill Cosby statue up. I still don't think we should take those down, even though we don't have nothing to say, hey, y'all need it. If y'all gonna take, we take that down, we take those down.
Now I'm saying, like, I'd rather take down, a Jackson, like a.
Oh, Michael Jackson, you say that? Would you take that down?
No, I'd rather put up a Michael Jackson and take one of these Southern war generals down.
So what black guy? So let's get down and dirty, right? This is what they like, right, bro? What black guy do you think that we should take down?
None.
Well, shit, you always talk about R. Kelly.
Ooh, well,
R. Kelly.
Those statues, Jim.
There's a fountain now.
There's a fountain.
What do you feel about? So hold up, wait a second. So I like to involve everybody.
I got my aim.
The controversy is always good. What do you think about if somebody had an R. Kelly statue?
I mean, I work with somebody who loves R. Kelly.
Who, a white girl or a black girl?
It was a white girl.
And what? So what do you think? You
She thinks she can fly?
I mean, she thinks she can jump on it.
I knew that. That's avoiding the question. What do you think about an R. Kelly poster? I mean, statue.
I mean, I think it's somebody's personal preference.
Right, but in a public place.
Yeah, in a public place.
No,
No.
No,
So
he
right.
lost his stock. He good.
Yeah.
As a black woman.
Yeah, he lost his stock. He good.
It'd be like putting up a statue to Epstein. You know, you're like,
I don't-
oh, God.
I got you.
You know? But I just feel like, okay, go ahead.
Is there any black guy that statue that's up there like, what?
I've never heard of a person's statue that is in. No, that's a good question because I really have never heard of a.
Yeah. So why do you think black people dig so hard about getting those type of statues off? It's not all black people, but the majority of them. So why do you think those type of people?
Well, I know from my Facebook that none of my black friends talk about any of that stuff, and it's all my white yuppie friends that probably don't have any black friends and shit from growing up that talk about the stuff the most. But yeah, I mean there is no comparison to. So that is an interesting question. It's an interesting argument. Like there is no black person that's done something that would disgust white people. Take it down. But there's definitely, plenty of people that also disgust white people as well.
Right.
And I've been somewhere in between. I hate to always be the guy in between, but maybe put them in a museum or something so it's not destroyed because it is part of our past.
I don't think
part of our past.
Only some of them.
But it shouldn't be
not
like
all of
looked
them.
at
I
like
think.
worship.
All of them. I don't think they should have took down.
Well, I'm going to tell you, here's something that I got to say is that most of the pink people that I knew, they were out protesting, say, a group of Nazis. And then these Nazi supremacists would say they were going to meet at this statue. So why did they meet there? Because it represented something that was close to them. It happened in Knoxville here. And the number of people that turned out against them was probably 10 times the number of people who were meeting there to chant for white supremacy. And most of those were actually very well informed. Many of them were LGBTQ because they were painfully aware of prejudicial behavior. And they were also targets of these same people. So if it's not important, then why would they select those kind of statues as a meeting place? And they very often did. So I just think that it's what has happened is that the image of that particular flag has certainly shifted. When that Klan film came out, in the 20s, that kind of glorified the whole thing, and it kind of set into place in people's mindsets. And this is what media can do, because when a lot of people watch the same thing, they'll come away with that particular impression, and that impression was the filmmaker.
Do you think media has anything to do with the perception of the KKK, or do they deserve that?
Oh, I think that the perception is probably worse than they, among public. The average person that is not at forum would say worse stuff than the news media would, but the news media is not supportive. But I think they would be explicit.
Let me ask you this. I think Bird was going to ask us. So, what do you think about the KKK and BLM?
It seems like the KKK was narrowly focused and rather accurate, and BLM was not narrowly focused and was not very accurate. I think that in the long run they were trying to say all lives matter, and at some point,
Black Lives Matter too.
Also, yes,
yeah.
So
Black Lives Matter. Well, people two O's. Hopefully, Black Lives Matter also. Okay. No, Not part two.
Not
Black Lives Matter.
Yes. And you know what? I think that what happened was that little slogan caught on a little too fast, because I don't think that they spent enough time coming up with the right name of it. And someone goes, yeah, that's it. And then, like the fervor of that little meeting of whoever it was came up with that slogan.
Why do people compare? Why do you think white people compare Black Lives Matter to the KKK or anything?
Because
racist?
they're ignorant. They're ignorant.
How?
They don't,
But it don't be all ignorant people that do it though. Like I don't heard like it's even been black people that.
There could be very opinionated people, but that does not mean that they're not ignorant.
Yeah, I'm talking about.
You have a strong opinion does not mean that you're not ignorant.
Right.
But and so, to my point though, I think that they just didn't come up with a good way their marketing and their slogan was not correct. They could have come up with something better. I'm not going to say that I know what it is right now, but you see how bad it turned out.
But it turned out good at the beginning, though. I mean, you had everybody throwing rocks and shit. You know what I mean?
See, I think that in the long run, that if you're going to damage material that might even be in your own neighborhood and stuff,
right?
It doesn't really serve you.
It don't. It don't. But how?
And whites do it too. Look what
I'm not saying in our neighborhood. All right, y'all hear? But it only happens in our neighborhood.
No, but I'm saying, like, what was that football game? And when they won, they went nuts out in California. These were whites just going crazy.
Shit, we can talk about the George Floyd thing. We went nuts. We burnt our own shit up in George Floyd.
Yeah. Well, I know. I understand. That's just anger.
Yeah, I get it though. I mean, what else do we supposed to do?
But it was misplaced anger.
Yeah, right. I mean, should we go to the white people place and burn them down? I probably get banned for saying that. But is that what we should do? Is that? I mean, if we don't burn, everybody say shit, we're burning their own fucking shit down. I mean, do you want us to burn your shit down?
Right.
Were they here then?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, we have to admit that sometimes mob decisions are not necessarily any of the individuals would do. You get a mob of people and they're like, we're all going this way, and you tend to go with them.
Yeah. And the
probably
results,
just burn the building down that's right there.
Right, the results might not be the best.
Shit, that's my bank.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah, what you do is say, like, I'm going to burn my old building down in protest. It's like,
I got it.
Okay, but the thing is that I think we all agree that didn't really help anything, but neither did coming up with BLM, because it sounded like it's saying, well, we're the only ones that matter, or it's saying that it's like it's not inclusive. And I understand that there's an irony in that aspect, that people say, well, that's not inclusive, and that's the whole point, they were being excluded to begin with. So something else could have been there that would talked about it in a different way, and that's what I wish had happened. I can't tell you what it might be. All colors matter.
Right.
God is colorblind.
What you think it should have been? You think Black Lives Matter is a good slogan?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got you.
It was the right idea.
I think in this day of all-inclusiveness, it was the only thing on the planet that's given ignorant white men a reason to bitch. I'm not included with that.
I got you. So you don't know if it was that.
No, I don't necessarily think it was bad, but I like Seva. Could it maybe something have been better that maybe didn't trick me? Sure, but it's like
right. What you think, Bubba? Was it a smart or bad?
I think it's a good benefit overall or a bad one.
I mean, I feel like people are kind of getting mad for no reason. I don't really see what there would be to get mad at.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think that it's inaccurate enough though that it gave people a reason to really bitch about it. They just saw it as another dividing line, and most of the time you don't make things better by making a dividing line. Calling it BLM, I think, made a dividing line on a situation that was about a dividing line. And it's kind of like, that did not help. It just made the line deeper.
Right.
I think that there's a better way that they could have, that the people that put that organization together could have stated something about the situation. But that one just caught on. I think it's a little bit of a lowbrow, midbrow kind of attitude. I don't think it's really like, if you sat down with an ad agency and said, we need to come up with something that represents that situation and all of that,
right,
what slogan can we come up with? I think they would have come up with something better and more applicable and more correctly perceived than BLM.
Gotcha. I, on my opinion on Black Lives Matter, I understand it. I get it.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they tried to come up with that. I think it happened.
I agree.
You know what I mean? And then some people was like, "Hey man, let's take this. This works. Like that makes a little more like, oh man. I mean, this was. Let me get this right now. Let me frame this. So it was right after George Floyd had his neck crunched on by a white officer, right? We never saw that before on nobody, right? We never saw that on white, black on black. Never. Even when Rodney, my nigga, they beat him 50 times before that shit happened. So with the compression of his knee, and then people's like, and then with just the discretion of some people saying, "What? I don't see anything." I think that is what spawned Black Lives Matter. Because at that point, I think black people, even myself, I got it. I think they ran that shit way too far of having rules. I think they had, too many things that, okay, Black Lives Matter, this is how you got to act if Black Lives Matter. That shit there is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then you have, I think it's a white person that's actually kind of getting paid, or this is like 3 chicks and then some white person. But I might be lying. It don't matter who getting paid off of it, but sometimes...
But the administration.
Sometimes when you start making money off of it, you're going to do things to make money off of it.
No, this is true.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so when we take it there, man, especially when the current slows down and we're not on rapid waters, what can we do to be more relative? If you're a business person.
Yeah, you're more relative.
So what are we going to do now to bring that money in? And then I think that's why some white people like, man, this shit not fucking cool, man. What the fuck are they talking about? Because they didn't know the culture, or they did anything to try to make $1 off of something that was not relevant no more.
Right. I mean, it's like if a shop puts up a rainbow flag and a BLM sign, they are saying that they recognize communities that have been ostracized.
Absolutely, no doubt about that.
That does not mean anything else about that.
I don't have a problem with it, but my white brethren has a problem with it.
But they'll generalize about the store owner and everything from that point. Oh, I bet she's a damn fucking snowflake, limp dick cocksucker.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that is making an assumption, and all assumptions are wrong.
Gotcha.
All intentions are wrong. Because good intentions lead to the road to the hell. Where do the bad ones lead you, dumbass? Shit. Assumptions are... But deductions, where you do your research there, Sherlock, you figure out stuff, and then you can make a deduction about it. So if I see, a sign in somebody's window that they represent or support some group, I just say, okay, they are saying that they are not prejudiced toward these people, but I can't make any other judgment about them. I don't know who they might be.
Right.
They might be a profound Catholic person. And they might be,
or right winger, but they still got the Black Lives Matter.
They might be.
You never know.
You're liberal, actually.
You don't know.
Yeah, you might be.
I guarantee that happens.
And that's the thing. This is the big mistake that people make.
You don't know.
Is that people do judge a book by their cover.
Absolutely, black and white.
Yeah.
Black and white.
Sure.
We both do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and so does white people.
And when
everybody
the thing is that I taught college for a long time, and I discovered that anytime I thought I understood somebody from the way they looked or the way they talked or anything, that I was completely wrong every time. And I mean, I taught for 17 years, in college, and I would see somebody and the way they talked or where they sat in class or how they acted or whatever, I was very quick to kind of just categorize them. And inevitably, they would prove me wrong.
Right.
And without fail.
That's how we tight right now.
That's right. And it came down to it. I never judged a person on necessarily what they had done beforehand, like what classes they had taken. It was more about like, where are you in this, this skill set? Like in this particular thing, you just come to class and wanted to add my class, and you hadn't taken the prerequisite.
Yeah.
But you had done so much stuff that it's like, okay, that's fine.
Right.
And I don't care who it was telling me they wanted to get it in the class without taking the prerequisite. I was going to ask them the same questions, what have you done? So that was based on, that's merit-based.
Right.
Right? And I believe merit-based is the way to go.
Gotcha.
And from that standpoint, that's where I see that merit-based would work over affirmative action, and hope to God that it does. I hope that the colleges and universities actually overdo it slightly, saying they have to do it their own now, to be like, well, let's do it even better than we were required
Yeah,
to do.
it's tough.
And it probably will.
It's tough. It's tough.
So what's the story behind Adam Calhoun coming to Sequoia Studios?
If I recall, he wanted Katie to come up to his studio.
Yeah.
So I don't know why, but you'll tell me why. But
Well,
he came in with his son.
At that point, man, they probably, his shit sounded, I don't know if we mastered what we was doing. It sounded pretty good, what he was. So I was like, cool. I was probably the lone wolf. You and Katie mom didn't want her to go anywhere, and I get that. You know what I mean? But I was like, if she wanted to go, let her go.
Right.
It wasn't bad up there. I mean, the sound good. The song was good. The song was good, man.
Right. The thing was she 18 yet at that time?
That was the deal. No, she wasn't 19 yet.
She wasn't 19.
Yeah.
I saw it as a kind of a reasonable idea on his part to
Right.
be able to do a duet, because
Right.
I see that she was hot at what she was doing.
Right.
I had a certain point where I felt like she needed to have, our support, and I wasn't supportive of it.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like because I knew how naive she was in so many different ways,
Right,
that
right.
she just didn't know.
You saw that way before I did.
I saw this, and it's like greatly gifted,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely greatly gifted, and ignorant.
Right.
She just didn't know stuff. She didn't like school, didn't go to school,
I mean,
didn't work about school.
yeah. Right.
Right.
Right. Naivety, whatever.
Yeah,
I
well,
say that.
ignorance.
Yeah.
And you can be very naive when you're ignorant.
Okay.
And that ignorant just simply means that you don't know. That means you haven't studied. That means you haven't learned something. It doesn't mean anything else. I'm ignorant of the law. I didn't know it was 65 miles an hour. I was ignorant of that. It just means you don't know. Now, worse than ignorant is stupid. And stupid is when you make decisions that are against your own better, future.
Right.
And in that regard, she's stupid too. Because she made moves against her own best interest.
I agree.
And that was like by showing the Confederate flag and by blowing a fucking record deal.
A lot of people don't know that I snatched that off of her with the Confederate flag. They don't know that
No.
they do. It came out. I had to. Hey,
Yeah, it's like
what are you
put that
doing?
in the fucking.
Yeah, it was up on YouTube.
Well, the sad thing is,
Yeah, but what's Drake put it up, and I
Yeah.
was like, man, what are y'all doing? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I'm like, oh man, come
now,
on.
and the thing is, she will always probably have that songwriting talent and the singing
She's
talent.
a natural songwriter.
Absolutely natural. But she will never have the success that she could have if she remains attached to stupid people and to people that do not have her interests at heart. They truly don't. They will glad hand, they will backpat, they will say all this beautiful lip blubber bullshit to her to make sure that she's totally happy with whatever you want, everything. And they will do that in order to stay in close contact with her.
Do you think Nashville killed her?
No. She killed herself. Absolutely killed herself. And the thing is, if you can, clean up and do your thing, then you can go back and get in good graces, just like Morgan Wallen did. Admittedly, he said some stupid fucking shit. He's not ignorant, but he's stupid.
So you think just because he said nigga that was a stupid thing?
Yeah.
What if he was just chilling with his
But-
people outside of and the ring fucking doorbell say, hey my nigga, what's happening?
But the second time, TMZ had already caught him once. And to know that TMZ was looking for him and to do that is not professional.
I didn't know they caught him once.
Yeah, they'd already, yeah. When the second time happened and it was that big, then he'd already dealt with some of this before, and he didn't understand that this is professional, serious stuff. You cannot let that be known. You can't do it on the street, because when you're on the street, you're in a public arena.
Absolutely.
And
how big he is. He just came off a big one. It was this big one, huh?
Yeah.
That was this big boy.
Yeah. And but because that happened, he lost his next tour, the entire
He
world
lost everything.
tour. Yeah. But you see,
But he got SNL though.
he apologized. Well, yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
He apologized. He talked about it. He thought about it.
He did his thing.
Because
he did what he had to do.
Because he's wise enough.
Oh, his team is.
Well, if you don't have a good team, and that's the whole thing. If you have a team that encourages you to steal from people, then you're not in the right company.
Right.
And if you're in a team of people that tells you whatever you want to hear, you're not in the right kind of a company. If you got people that blatantly breaking the law and stealing money, and Katie's with those people.
Country music, bigger artists do not fuck with talking about BLM
Or the Confederate
or
flag.
the fucking Confederate
Right.
flag.
And do you know when
Neither
do we know any rock people that really are rock people that are really like making it that do
They're
that?
like that. Fuck you, nigga. Fuck you, nigga. No. But it's people that make that music.
Not one.
But it's music. It's people that make that fucking music.
And
It's
it's
a smaller thing.
but
I know. But I'm just,
You know
so
what?
is this.
Right.
So
they're
is this.
inconsequential. They're irrelevant and inconsequential. I'm saying though that if you are in the public eye, generally people know there's some things you just don't mention. People have been emboldened to talk about stuff that they felt like, well, I can talk about this, and that was the issue at hand, which was like you need to have a professional decorum and behavior so that you are taken and seen as a professional person, and you're not bringing what could be seen as very personal opinions included into what you do.
Right.
A country started to be political,
Absolutely.
And they
Vote for Trump. But man,
That's fine.
don't tell us why you vote for Trump.
Right. I mean,
That's it. I vote for Trump. That's it. We already know. You ain't got to be out there and do the things and act like that. And the same on my end.
Yeah.
We ain't got to say whatever that is to be to support the vision. And that's the one thing that I'm totally against more than anything is the vision, man. I don't like that. I just don't like it. It's like, what are we? Why are we? We gotta help each other, man. At some point.
Well, and this is kind of part of that whole deal where, are we mature enough as a society to make a good decision together? Apparently not. And because
but it's white and white people and black versus. So it's white versus white. And black versus black, and then you got a little mixture of it all against each other right now. It's weird, man.
Yeah.
Because you got a lot of white moms and black dads, and trust me, dog, they love their kids.
Sure they do.
And so I'm like, okay, where do they fit at?
Right.
Where do they fit at? If it's white versus black, where are the people that
Right.
have mixed babies or biracial people?
Sure.
Where are they? Where are they at?
They're increasingly the center. And that's the whole point. Is
I get it. That's
we're
not
building
funny,
on
but what? So where do they? So
they're not polarized.
which is a whole. It seems like they gotta be.
But they're not though. But they're not polarized this way or that way. They are really kind of saying like, hey, well, this is that together part. So
right.
the polarizations, they're not really part of either one of those.
Right.
They can't be, because of who they are.
Right.
I think that all of those serve as really good examples, and all you fucking white mongrel dogs out there should take that as an example too, because you're Irish somebody, fucked your Scotch somebody, fucked your Italian somebody, and you are here now. Okay?
If a white guy grew up in a all black neighborhood, do you think it'd be cool with them saying nigga?
I don't think a white person really ever has the right to say that.
Man, I think if somebody grow up and go through that nigga shit, I almost think they kind of.
Well, if
that's
Michael
up,
Rappaport.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, but let me say,
absolutely. Hold on. I'm gonna ask my lady.
All right.
Baby, what do you think about cool ass white boys, the ones that's cool as fuck? What do you think about them saying nigga?
I mean, some of them naturally use discretion, but they gonna say it anyway. I mean,
They can't help it, right?
Yeah, some of them just gonna say it.
They can't help it.
That's environment.
Yeah,
And they've learned it this way.
Yeah.
But you know what? They should know when not to use that in the presence of other whites that wouldn't understand the fact of of their people, of their culture, of their background, of their history, of their neighborhood.
That does make a big difference.
You know, because they get used to that, okay, but that doesn't mean you can do it in front of anybody.
Right.
Because then so they lose discretion. Why couldn't?
So Bert, I'm my expert. Bert, you have a white, you have a black lady. What do you think about white people? If they're cool, they're cool. Would you want somebody saying that around your lady? If they say, "Hey, what's up, my nigga?"
No.
Wow, that's a whole different perspective. She'll be offended.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If any white dude say "nigga," period, nigga, they don't supposed to ever say that.
Yeah.
Because
no
you know
excuse.
what? Because whoever that person is was not part of her neighborhood. Now, if it was a white guy that grew up in her neighborhood since 2 to 3 years old and had always been that way, maybe he was the child of 2 black people who adopted him. Mm-hmm. Whatever it is, then she would see that in a different context. But if it's just some white guy, then it's like, of course you'd be offended. That's what I'm saying is that if there's any pink people that have earned the right or was allowed to have the right to use that word on a colloquial basis, then they better keep it within their cohort.
Yeah,
you know. Gotcha. And so if they're wise enough to do it,
I understand.
You know, then if you're going to use it in a negative way, then you better know when to keep it shut.
How do y'all feel about Katie Noel's relationship with her mom?
Oh man,
do you remember the first day?
Oh yeah,
the first day, the first recording session. They went out there and had a fight.
Yeah.
Had a whole fight.
And she brought in a piece of paper, you know, trying to have everybody sign everything and make sure to try to protect her. And you know what? I saw that as a mom doing a mom.
Yeah, I thought that was. I was like,
they had a fight.
Yeah, they had a fight.
And you know, I guess that this, you know, her mom. What's her name?
I don't know. We ain't gonna do that.
You know what? She sits on the fence so much, though, between the sacred and the profane.
Yeah.
But her mom, you know, would be on the sacred side, or this, like, not spirituality but more like religious teachings, indoctrination.
It was a little weird.
And then would go to, and then at the other side would be, I would say, on the side of the profane. You know, and I'm saying that in that she wasn't following church teachings or doing anything else like that she professed to all the time. So she was church when it was convenient. And I think that is a really mixed message to send.
Yeah.
And I think in the long run, she had real sense of protection because
definitely.
And she knew that Katie had gone through hell in school because she was a looker, and out in the middle of, you know, asshole North Carolina somewhere, it was hard as fuck for her. I know it was hard for Katie. And I know that her mom was defensive of that. And she was going to make sure that she's going to be okay and all that.
She was a good mom, man. I mean,
yes.
I think,
did the best that she could.
She did the best. Absolutely. I agree with that.
And it was pretty lousy what she did, but it was still the best she could, you know. Because the environment, I'm arguing for environment here. Okay. This is also like why someone like Calhoun or other people would expose his son to the kind of talk and stuff that he does.
He does expose Taman, but
yes,
I mean to Adam's defense though, baby, man, this is the way of the lion these days.
Well, it was his environment, and I want to know. Like, I wanted to know who did Adam grow up around?
I understand.
Who was that way?
I'm talking about he exposed him to multimedia, social media, and that's what I mean. That is the way of the lion these days. If you're not dominant there, man, you're really not dominant.
No,
right now.
but but he has an element of hatred. And
he has an element of
prejudice,
but he has a fucking wing. He does.
Well, you know what?
And a fucking big followers. Trump is president.
Amen.
So I mean, what, you don't think he's not going to have 1 million people that agree with him?
Sure. So does Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Okay.
You know, I mean,
I got that. I'm not for him, dog. I'm not for him.
You know,
I'm not for him. I'm not for
Rush
him.
on the radio.
Yeah.
He had a lane.
He's sleeping.
Yeah, he's sleeping now.
They're gonna cut that. They will.
He's going to, but it's the same kind of thing. He had a lane.
Yeah.
And because of freedom of speech, that is part of that aspect. One thing I don't like about social media is it gives every one of you motherfuckers the right that you think that someone in the whole world should know what you're fucking thinking. You know what? And some of you it's valuable, and most of you it's not at all. And I think that's a problem with social media, because you can get followers of some wackadoodle, crazy wingnut idea, and you'll get followers on that because they don't have enough imagination to lead their own life. And that's unfortunate. That's just unfortunate. They don't have a passion in their life that is their own, so they follow somebody else's lane.
Right.
So, there's leaders and there's followers. There's basically producers and there's consumers, right? And all of us are consumers at the same time. But I'm saying, though, that there's an aspect of if you get a lane, people will follow you. And you have to be dynamic that way. Of course you do. But there are people that are much more dynamic than Calhoun or McDonald, who don't spout any hate or talk about other people badly, or don't make pronouncements that are sweeping generalizations. They just don't. They don't. And they make a lot more money than these cats. Much more. Because they know how to just keep that in check. And they think that, now they've been emboldened to speak out loud about this stuff. And I blame that on Trump. Because Trump told everybody, you are downtrodden and they've ignored you for years. You can speak up. And when you encourage people to speak up like that, they will and they'll follow. And I think that's why a lot of this stuff started coming out. We know a lot about hate groups here in Tennessee. There's more hate groups organized in Tennessee than in any state in the entire union.
Right.
Tennessee, the state of hate. All the way to the legislature.
Let me ask you this question. Do you think Ryan is racist?
I really don't know. I really don't know. He's made the mistake of quite often having the Confederate flag in there, so he's already basically put him outside of major label interest, and he'll say he doesn't care about that, and that's all right.
Do you think he's talented enough to make the majors?
He would have been.
What you mean would have been?
I don't
talented enough.
Talented enough. Yes, I do.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
never
make it.
Unlike Johnny Knoxville, he didn't know how to keep his mouth shut. So, you can go on to great things. But
you think he still can? You think he can fix that?
Man, because of the nature of media now, they can pull up so much stuff of what you've done. Once you put it out there, it's out there forever. As good as people are finding stuff that is bad about people, somebody could mount a really serious campaign against him because he said much more than Morgan Wallen ever said. And not necessarily about black people, but he has said a lot of offensive material.
He has, but it hasn't been that egregious as regular, like knuckleheads. I don't know if he's that much. The only thing that he really did that people could really be like, "Hey, man, that's fucked up," was the flag.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I agree
because his lyrics, man, don't really go there. Like
no, I mean,
know
you look at what he did. He did comedy.
Yeah.
Then he got into so-called country rap,
and
he had some of the best songs I've ever heard.
Man, shit, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. The Rolling Stone is like all this stuff.
Yeah, that shit's so good. Yeah, Rolling Stone,
British shit.
Dirty South.
He has a chance. He would have more of a chance than Calhoun ever would.
Oh man, that's not even it's more of him and Jelly. Calhoun is not even in the mix, man. He's not a true artist. If Calhoun was a true artist with all the fans that love his racial rhetoric, if he was anywhere of an artist like Ryan and Jelly, he would be in this conversation. Yeah. But he's not. He's a joke. I mean, it's like I don't know, man. He's like a puppet. It's like Grover and Oscar. I mean, it's like a hand up his ass.
You know what I think that is?
What?
I think that's what he thinks is right.
Oh, he thinks he's jamming, dog. I mean, like, man, it's nothing. You know how we talk about the ABBA?
Yeah.
It's like a NOWA. Why? No way, buddy. You suck.
You know what? I'm just wondering, is that his father's hand up his ass?
Oh, man.
Because somebody came from somebody. That whole fucking.
But we got pictures of.
Yeah.
We got pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we definitely got those.
Oh man,
but that's another day.
He loves.
Yeah, that's another day. That's another day. That's another day.
I mean, the thing is, he's a person. He's a human being.
Yeah,
and I respect that. And when he was here, I respect
hard worker, man.
Absolutely
Hard worker.
It's just I think that he is kind of constrained by the path that he has.
Yeah,
that is.
I mean, you know what? If I think Adam would be a really, really, really good like person, like say in the music business that got acts and put them on and put that shit together. I think he'd be really good at that.
No, I'd be a good promoter.
Oh fuck yeah! But making music, fuck no.
Well, expressing his opinions is the problem.
Hey man,
and it's like, just basically. It's talent wasted. And Ryan, on the other hand, I think that you're right.
Artist money.
He has the opportunity to be able to do it. But,
I hope so, man.
But he's,
he
has
I know,
to.
I know.
And it doesn't really. He could wait till he's 50 if he wants to.
He's that good.
Yeah, but I think the thing is that some people were really onto the outliers of Upchurch and Calhoun that made it rougher and edgier and a little bit more dangerous. Because as you pointed out, Upchurch did comedy and then Calhoun did comedy and then he went to country rap.
He did everything.
He copied him. Yeah. And you know what? All right. So, the great people steal. But
he's inspired.
But you know what? And so Adam was great.
So the sucky people that steal.
He stole the idea.
Yeah.
And he made it his own.
Yeah, I'm sure Ryan got it from somebody.
But he got too much of him stuck in there.
Oh my God, man!
But you're right. I think he'd be a great promoter.
Even music guy. I mean, he have his school label.
He has a great.
But artists, no way.
How do y'all feel about the talent level in country rap?
Man, recently I have not been listening. I have to say.
Right.
And I was going to ask you about Jelly Roll. You had felt like he became really a country singer and had abandoned kind of his...
what got him there.
What got him there. Right,
yeah.
Right. And I was just curious...
Why?
Would he just without addressing that particular shift, that fork in the road that he took...
Yeah.
What about his talent?
Oh, my God. Undeniable, man. Even so...
Same way I don't deny Ryan's talent or even Adam's talent... of knowing how to put things together.
You know how to put it together.
But it's kind of like, what kind of dirt have you got rolling on that ball?
But no, I don't even go there. If Ryan, even if Adam was good at what he doing, it could be a total little baby Hitler, he'll be cool. If he was good at music, I probably would accept that shit.
I just don't like music that has hate in it.
But yeah, me neither. But so my thing with Jelly Roll is he good at that craft? Like I say, he don't suck. Man, please don't think I don't think he's good. I don't think I'm awesome, but I can make good music.
Yeah.
I never said if he didn't make good music.
Right.
Now, does he make good music? Oh my God.
Hey, the thing is, it sounded to me like he felt a little bit like he kind of sold out a little bit.
That's what I didn't like. And I'm going to say something about that because I think we gave him the chance and then, I just didn't understand about, when somebody gives you a shot because I saw when he was struggling and I saw when Ryan put him on a couple songs and his shit got better. And when the Ryan thing happened and that lane became cool, he became cool. I mean, he was going that way instead of that way. Yeah. And I'm not saying if he would have ever did country music after that, that he would have been where he is. Obviously, it's working. I mean, that shit sounds good. As soon as I heard it, I was like, man, before he got big with the country stuff, when I heard the country music, I was like, man, this shit sounds really fucking good, man. I mean, because the writing is so much more in depth, so much he knows where to do his thing and how to do the arranging because of writing so much because of rap. It's so it seems easy, but you could do it so much faster. And so when you get using that pen, you could adapt. Let's say this: a rapper would be really, really good at country music, but I don't know if country artists or be really, really good at rapping.
I agree. I mean, I know the country writers.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about country performers because we never know what the background is.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
right.
But writers. Let's talk about writers.
Yeah.
Somebody to write,
Yeah.
a rap.
Yeah.
And somebody would write a country song. It's a very different kind of environment because, now, interestingly, like part about what we talk about rap is like successful stuff is you leave out a lot of extra words and stuff so that you can make it more, each word worth more.
Yeah, I don't know if he knows that yet.
Right.
When I hear it, that's what I don't hear.
Right. And in country music, that also is important.
Absolutely.
And because they use much less words.
Absolutely.
And then
hey, man, after trying to make it, I respect it.
The wordsmithing is incredible.
I said, yeah, definitely.
You look at Hardy, man, how he's doing stuff, the way he's writing, it's absolutely phenomenal. Look at Orville Peck, the way he's writing, it's phenomenal. The way that like Orville Peck and Shania Twain did this piece together that was, it was celebrating all that was country music,
right?
And just a beautiful thing, and it made me think about, the accuracy of their language and what their songs were,
right?
And the truth is, I admire the same thing about great rap, and there might be a lot more words because that's one of the things about it is rap. You almost have to unpack everything.
Yeah, you do.
In country music, you don't have to unpack.
It's there in your face.
It's there in your face, but it could be very.
Oh my God!
I
I can't say which one. Some, like I say, the old school rap was a look to me, and I'm sure country people, country devoutest would be like, no way, you're lying. The country is harder, and that's cool, and that's what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? But I think that, it's a little bit more. And I'm not saying I'm right. I know I'm probably not right. I think at the end of the day, I think if you do something, a great song, if you in any genre, a great song is not easy to write. Oh, it might be.
I agree.
But a great song is a great song.
I agree.
And it don't matter if it's easy or hard. You know if it's great.
I agree. I mean, if you have whether you have a lot of words or few words,
right?
To get one that's great is very, very difficult.
It's very hard, yeah.
And it's rather easy to be mediocre.
Yeah.
It's easy. And you know what? Almost anybody can sit down with anyone.
It seems like it's hard to be mediocre.
They can sit down with a guitar and write.
But it seems like it's hard to be mediocre, to be honest. I don't agree with that.
No, but what I'm saying is that's where most people are. Is kind of like they're not great, but they're kind of like average.
Gotcha.
And that average is not so hard to get to because you don't really get the right words. You don't really say it quite the right way. And someone brought me a song the other day, and I listened, and it was working out pretty nicely. It's a country song. And then the wordplay never got very clever. And that's where it was like, he landed on a cliche instead of a classic. And it's like, the whole song was like that.
Right.
Where he was building up, and if he'd had a couple of word twists, it would have been much more impactful. And sometimes it's just those few word tweaks that will do that in rap as well. Yeah. Anything with words in it.
Yeah.
Because it's a story. And a lot of times, in country music, the story is left up to the theater of the mind a lot. And in rap, a lot of the history is highly detailed and packed full of meaning. And because of the slang and other stuff, it can have like really complex and deep relationships to it that I don't think that country will have, because rap's dealing with a whole level of social issues to the deepest ones. Country does not. Country generally deals with, love and hate and fun and so forth, and it's like, okay, but they're not talking about the difficulties of being white. So it just can't be that deep,
I got you. Right. I get it.
Oh, the burden of having white privilege. Oh my God. I went down, I got in my truck and drove around and felt better. I don't know. I had a beer, I mean, but that kind of stuff, so I'm not disrespecting country. I'm saying that.
No, we both can't. We both can't because we do that.
It's part of entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely. It's big part.
That's entertainment.
Big part.
And some rap is not entertainment. It was more like a social outlet, structure, communication.
Both. So it's outlaw country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any genres that you can compare to country rap?
Got it. Gangsta rap. I think gangsta rap is very much like country rap because it started out where people didn't like it. It was kind of people of poverty, people who really didn't like nobody. Still, the world's still against country rap, man. It got cool for the Donald Trump stuff because that's who embraced him. But I still think country rap is really much like very much like gangster rap because it's only a certain amount of people. Let's say the impoverished people gonna go and do some kind of rough shit, something that's definitely against the law, like moonshining. I think moonshining is the same thing as cooking crack. You know, right. I know that sounds crazy as fuck.
I hear you though.
But it's so much of the poor trying to make money so they could feed their fucking family.
Right.
And I think that was the big thing with gangster rap, that it was their, you know, rapping or whatever the fuck we ever had to do to feed our family.
And you know what? It was directed toward their cohort.
It's how they did it.
Yeah, and country rap is directed toward
exactly
their cohort.
Exactly.
So neither one really looks at a broader market,
right? Because
that's not their goal.
Do you think country rap would get where gangster rap got to?
I mean, gangster rap evolved though. Like
that's not.
But I mean,
why couldn't country rap evolve?
Oh, it could.
I mean, I guess that was. Do you consider Lil Nas X country rap?
No.
You don't. Okay, got it. You consider Lil Nas X country rap?
No, I mean no, because that one song was everything else is different.
Would you consider?
Yeah, I think it was a one-off song, but that it was a country song.
I think it was country rap.
Okay, you know what?
I'm the only one on there. Goddamn,
man. You know, it's like well, as an artist, no. The song definitely.
Yeah. And that's kind of, yeah. I mean, I understand where y'all coming from.
Yeah, yeah.
But I thought that song was definitely more country.
Most
rap.
definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Who was else we were talking about that was Second Chance?
Yeah, Second Chance.
You know, really serious talent.
Serious talent, man.
I would agree with you that that song was country rap.
Right.
He is a multi-dimensional talented artist, you know, and he did it as soon as he had a hit. He went straight to the fashion industry in New York and then got picked up into Hollywood. He was in American Gods. He's done a lot of stuff. I mean, he's very, very talented
His
person.
team, man.
Shit. You know, except for the guys at Columbia that forgot to, like...
Yeah, to clear the sample. Come on, man. Naughty. Come on, Columbia.
Man,
what the fuck are you doing?
Rick Rubens is the head man. Rick,
woo!
You know, man.
Wow.
You know,
that's bad, bro.
You and I both know a good Brim call.
Come on,
right?
Man.
Like, so come on, Rick. Why did that guy not do? Somebody in your department didn't do diligence,
yeah.
right? And they got popped because they had a sample in that song.
Man, a lot of money.
So you know, but record companies make mistakes. You know, it's like Biggie Smalls,
right?
They were out doing their thing, and then you know, then someone in Chicago said, "Excuse me, I have the trademark for that name." They had to pull all of his stuff out of the stores, destroy it all.
1.6 million copies.
Yes, and then rename him.
Mm-hmm.
And the Notorious B.I.G.
They had to catch up. They started off like 500,000-700,000 behind.
Yeah, so that was just a deal where the team failed Biggie and failed Lil Nas X too. But you know what? It didn't matter because he was going to so much bigger heights than that.
Yeah.
So
what was the other guy? Sting. Juice WRLD.
Oh yeah, Sting sued Juice WRLD.
Yeah, Juice WRLD.
Yeah.
Juice WRLD was the other one. That's probably bigger than everybody.
Juice WRLD was huge.
Yeah, Juice WRLD was huge.
And he had a terrible close team because
I was like, whoa!
All those people killed him, man.
What?
They killed him because, you know, if your team is not saying, hold on,
everything. Man. It's this big?
Let's not carry the giraffe onto the plane because it's illegal to have giraffes inside the plane. You know, it's someone who cared enough. And none of them really cared enough.
Right.
And that includes what is it?
Kid Leroy. Is that what you're talking about?
Kid Leroy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kid Leroy basically, you know, has blood on his hands because he was on the plane right there with Juice WRLD. And
how he know this shit?
That's crazy.
Baby, how the fuck? What the fuck?
That was great.
But you know, like, if you
What the fuck? What? I'm like, what? Leroy?
Kid Leroy,
I
yeah.
already know what you're talking about.
But you know, it's like that's a shame when people don't have a good team with them, because that's what they have to have. And and because we were talking about a team, you know, having a good team to help keep you from doing stupid shit, right?
Right.
I mean, you have to trust them,
Right.
And this ties back to Juice World. It ties back to to Katie. That you really have to trust the team that really has shown you that they can make this work, you know. And so the team is definitely important. You said, like, when Barry White got up to accept the Grammy, you know, first thing he said was, "It takes a team."
Yeah.
And everybody erupted in applause because everyone there was part of somebody's team.
Absolutely.
And they all were like, he was pointing out that it takes a team, and that's the thing. It's a business, but it's a complex business because it's a business about subjective things, which is music. We can't be objective about it.
Right.
And we could be objective about bottom line shit, but that's the business part.
Right.
But I'm talking about the interpersonal part, you know. And so it's not like most businesses. It's not like you go to work at a bank, you go to work at a school or whatever. You have that particular community, but you have somebody that's with you. Like, there's somebody almost with you 24/7 because you are you're a star.
Right.
You know, and I think a lot of people have stumbled because they didn't have a good team, or they didn't trust people that they should have.
Right.
And that's just, you know, that's a shame, because you have to get all those steps right to really get there.
Right.
You know, I was going to genres to compare to country rap.
What's the other genres?
Kid songs,
Oh my God.
Baby Shark. It's not really trying to push the envelope too much. I think that in the way that gangster rap dug into the reasons that it's there, that country rap could do the same thing and deal with a lot of things.
But they just don't have the rappers to pull it off.
No, I don't think they. No. And they don't.
That's it.
And they don't have the writers.
Right. That's it.
Not right
That's
now.
why.
You know, it's if
I never thought about that.
If Ryan started thinking about, like, what are the real injustices of this world,
Man, he'll kill it.
Without regard to color or anything else, I think he could say something very powerful that would be country rap, but it would be much deeper than anything that had been done before. I think he has that opportunity, but you know, I think
it'll come. I think everybody, like, and no, not saying nothing to you. I think everybody always get this is what you should do shit, right? And then the great ones, the really fucking great ones, find that path and become great. I don't know if there's any maybe, but he's definitely not going to listen to us. But so you know what I mean? So if your path is to be great, you're going to figure it out.
You have to.
Yeah,
well,
I think you got to figure that out.
And this is a matter of, are you distracting yourself in any way? Are you allowing yourself to be distracted by something, like by buddies that want to do this, or?
I think he's getting there. I think he's getting so fucked off that he's going to eventually make some really, really good fucking music. Not saying he's not, but I think he's so much of an artist that, you know, people fuck up. He kind of let people fuck up his business.
He has the potential.
Oh my God,
to become much more dimensional.
Huge.
You know, and this is where you believe in yourself, and with some disregard for what people tell you should do.
And he got that edge. He already has.
So it's hard to do that.
It just got to stop alienating everybody.
You have to do two things. You have to, like, stay on the path you know that is right, and two, while disregarding all of the pressures from other people, you also have to culture those people that are supporting you, and make sure that your team is solid.
You gotta
and
have
supported.
a good ear. You have to have a good voice in your ear, man.
Yeah, but it's like it's hard to stay on that path if you have people or things that are distracting from you.
Right.
And one of the things it's hard for anybody to do is to say, "Wow, I've got this relationship with so and so, and I don't really get anything out of it, you know. But they maintain it anyway because they don't want to upset somebody. That's a problem. But instead, like pushing people away that might actually have something to offer, that's a problem. And you have to make sure that you're on the right side of both of those, and be very, very determined, you know, and then tell people what your path is so they can help you stay on that, as opposed to dragging you off of it or distracting you, you know, from being able to work on it, because there's only so much time. You can't buy any time. You know, you can get everything else. You can get anything else except time.
Gotcha.
And if you burn it acting goofy with buddies, or really just not being efficient with the time and allowing other people to take that from you, then that's going to be a major problem, because anything that takes your time is not really for you. If you get a return off of it, great, but it's hard to get rid of the ones that don't, because everybody, don't want to make them feel bad. Fuck them. You know.
What do y'all think about Adam Calhoun running for president?
I think he could do better things with his time. You know, I'm not sure what that's going to do for him, no matter what. You know?
It was crazy, man. Like he said, if he became president, he's gonna try to get Larry Hoover released. And I'm like, man, you know, when you do some fuck shit like that, man, it's like, come on, dog. You don't cut down all the nigga shit in the world, and then you gonna like let's go free Larry Hoover. Come on, boss. Like, man, who the fuck you think you trying to fool with that bullshit?
I'm not sure. I think it's just
like you ain't gonna try to fool no Larry. You did that for votes. The niggas that gonna even vote for him can't even vote. You know what I mean? I mean, like, really? You ain't never hear that shit again, nigga. No. If you was, dog, where your shirt at, dog? Why you ain't go holler at Ye and Jay Prince if you was serious, man? You know what I'm saying, dog? Stop saying some dumbass shit like that, dog. Talking about some that you if you had a chance to do it, two real rappers, it'll be two that's dead. It's because you didn't want to do nothing with no real rappers. Are you fucking kidding me? You know what I mean? Like that shit. So and every time we want to fight somebody, dog, y'all like sign a waiver. I'm like, my nigga, dog. That's when you know that's like the dude, like somebody standing in the middle of two guys that don't want to fight. And they're just like, all right, who want to hit my hand? And they go hit their hand and they go in the other guy's face. It's that type of shit.
I know this is, you know what?
You know what I mean? I'm like, my nigga, come on, man. Stop that shit.
This is a
It's like some kiddie dumb shit.
It's misplaced show business concept.
Yeah, like, come on. But you know, he's the same guy that's like, hey, listen, if you don't like my songs, I'm going to kick your ass.
Right, you know.
Think about that. Think about that whole shit. If you don't like my music, I'm going to come to your house and fuck you up.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, there's a certain sense of lack of self-perception. You know, it's like
what the fuck is that though? Like really, what is that? Like, if you don't like my music, say, well, I'm going to beat you up.
Tell you what, I would say eat some mushrooms and come see me the next day. You know, maybe
that was the thing. I'm like, I didn't
Adam, psilocybin.
I didn't get that
by
part.
yourself in the woods, okay?
I didn't get that part. Like, if you didn't like my music, like, come to show your house, and you know, and I'm like, wow, really, dog? Like, if they don't like your music, you want to fight them? Why?
Yeah,
I mean, think about that. Like, you can't. Your music's not. That means your music's not good. You having some type of thoughts that, you know, I know my music not good, but if I warn these people who I'm gonna bully these people into liking my fucking shit. You know what I mean?
You know, I'll tell you what.
That was the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, you know, he can either come to realize reality when the Reaper comes for him, or if he wants to beat the Reaper, I say,
whatever.
2 ounces of psilocybin in the woods by yourself. All right.
When you wake up from this whatever you said,
he might have a little synapse jump.
What's the next one?
Right now, he's caught in his own neural net. You know,
Lord have mercy.
He needs new neural nets.
You definitely need neural nets.
He's a powerful person, and he could use it a lot better.
He could be. He understand. He worked his ass off.
Yeah, great work ethic.
Great.
You know, And I'm proud of his son getting into the Marines, doing whatever he's doing.
So he's a boxer now.
You know?
Yeah.
He's still a Marine, I guess. Is he? Did he finish?
What is that? What they say? What they say? Jug. What did they say? Yeehaw. What did they say? What is the Marine shit?
Hoorah!
Hoorah! Yeah, yeehaw!
Hoorah! Yeehaw! Yeehaw! Yeah, it's Yahoo hoorah.
I'll translate.
Hey man, you know, like
I was translating. Yeehaw is hoorah in country. Oh, yoo-haw, whatever that is.
Yeah, that's it. But it's like
Hoorah is yeehaw in country.
Well, you know, I was thinking that maybe among some people it might work that way, you know, but hoorah is like it's a communal group that is like so tight that I don't think that white people have that at all.
Why do you think conscious rap isn't popular?
Well, because most of the consumer population is not conscious either. You know, that's just the way it is. I mean, if they were conscious, they wouldn't be doing the kind of bullshit and polarizing the way they are. We're in the Aquarian age. The Aquarian age is the age of awareness. So what happens if you take people that are kind of ignorant, that is to say, they have not really tried the path of education to really grow what they're doing. And they work hard and they kind of fulfill the American dream. And of course, if you believe in the American dream, you must be asleep. The whole point is that when you make those people aware of their circumstances, painfully aware of them, then you get a lot of people that are angry. So now we have a lot of angry people that are kind of stupid. And that's unconscious. And they don't act in a way that is thinking of others in any kind of even Christian idea or even just good humanism, for God's sake. Well, humanism would be without God's sake. But, you know, they're not doing that. Instead, they are just kind of turning a little bit more tribal in their own way. And that's the idea of being more conscious. I'm sorry if you want to equate that with being woke, but why don't we just say the word conscious, like a good conscious decision, one where you're really fully aware of making good decisions because you're thinking about your consequences and shit.
What do you think about conscious and woke? Conscious and woke music. I guess that's more the answer, right?
We talk like conscious rap.
Yeah. Well,
music.
conscious. Let's say conscious and woke music. Conscious and woke music, or just that.
Isn't it the same?
Okay.
You know,
What do you think about
That's
it?
a good question. I don't think anybody's talking about woke music.
I guess kind of conscious and woke kind of the same. What do you think?
I think that conscious and woke could be seen the same way.
What do you think? How do you feel about conscious and woke or woke music?
I mean, it's a acquired taste.
You don't think it's that good, or what do you think?
I mean, it depends on.
Do you like it?
It's different genres to it.
What do you mean?
Well, yeah, there are different genres.
Genres to woke music.
Yeah. The thing is about, you know,
listening.
conscious rap is not as popular because it doesn't appeal to as many people. That's it.
Okay.
Because some people don't want to think that deep. Some people don't want to really like, wow, this is hard to listen to, or this is like very aware.
That's what I love.
And really like when people are really aware and they're taking note of it. And that is not something that.
But that's what Kendrick Lamar is. He's conscious.
Very much
conscious. Like 100%.
Well, somehow or another, you know, he was and is that popular. You know, he is not up there, you know, kicking the charts all the time.
When he comes out, yeah, he is.
He does.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Is that most music is not like his. Right?
Yeah. Drake beats him up when it comes to that.
Yeah, because there's more people. It's just kind of
well, as far as, like, I don't know, it seemed like Drake has more accolades. I mean, Kendrick has more accolades.
Sure.
But Drake is running laps around him in streams and sales. You would agree?
Well, if you're talking about, yeah.
You said Drake's running laps around Kendrick,
yeah.
in sales? Yeah.
When it comes to sales and that type shit. But
yeah.
It seemed like everybody agrees that Kendrick might be the better artist.
Right. And
it's weird, right?
But the thing is, I don't know. I think like the best, smartest novels are not read by as many people, and because that's not where they sit. Like it or not, the average IQ is 100, which means that half of the people you see in your Walmart store have IQs below 100. All right, and I'm sorry to say, but that's what it's truth about it. Okay, it's just true. And in the long run, it's like they say, one out of four people have mental illness. So if you can think of 3 friends that are okay, then you're the one. So just the whole thing is to think about. The thing is to think about how big the base is, and if you have a lower common denominator, you have a bigger base. So this is why dumb jokes can be very popular, but smart jokes have to be short. You'll bore the audience to death. You can tell a dumb joke take a long time, but a smart joke better be quick.
Right.
Because you'll lose. So I think that really is a matter. It's just appealing to a smaller group of people, and that is. I think it's been the nature of almost any music genre as well. Mm-hmm. You could look at some of our finest country artists, and they're not the chart toppers, but they write some exquisite songs, and it might be the best song of the year and so forth, but or whatever it might be, or best song of that quarter or that month, whatever. But I think it's measuring 2 different things. The conscious part, which has to do with more like this awareness and a self-focus, or able to explain or to tell that story at that level. That's one thing. But to say something that a lot of people resonate with, is something else. So comparing money to the kind of the intellect that's there, I think is kind of apples and oranges.
Mm.